Hello and welcome to another watch review video. Today I'm going to discuss the Seiko 62 MAS or 62 Mass re-edition from 2020, so this year. This is the reference number across the globe outside of Japan is Spb143j1. And I'm sure if you stumbled upon this video you already know quite a lot about this particular watch. This is my watch. I purchased it 3 weeks ago. In the UK it currently retails £1,100 on the bracelet. Across the diameter is 40.5 millimeters, so it's kind of perfect size for a dive watch. It's not too tall with 13.3 millimeters. I'm currently wearing it, as you can see, on a NATO strap. It's rather hot and the NATO is well comfortable one. And this is no particular NATO, just like with most of you watch guys or girls who really like watches. I also have a few NATOs lying around, so didn't buy for this particular model. It's just what I had at home. It comes in this very unremarkable box. It does have a booklet. It does feature a 6R35 movement with hacking seconds. It has a lower beat rate with 3 Hz rather than the usual 4, which means 6 beats per second. It's something, well, if you really look closely, you will notice it, that the second hand is moving slightly ever so slower, so it's not as smooth as you would expect it. A lot of watch brands have done this before. On my channel you will find the Longines review, which is I think very much comparable to this one, because it also has the grey sunburst dial, but I will talk about that a little bit more later, how this compares to that watch, which by the way I believe now retails for £1,270 in the UK, or 1260, anyway thereabout. So there is a £150 difference between that Longines Hydro Conquest and this Seiko model, and my verdict is that actually this one is a much better product in my opinion. Okay, so it has a 6R35 movement in it, lower beat rate, which then enables the watch to have a 70-hour power reserve. Ever since I bought this watch, I actually have been wearing it pretty much every day, so I haven't been able to test it, so to speak, whether those 70 hours are really 70 hours in the end, but I probably will add it later to this video under the comments once I put it down, frankly. The case is absolutely awesome. So Seiko is really renowned for its case, how they are making their cases, and as you can see, this one has mainly brushed finish, but then again you also have the polished one. Some say that this is actually Zaratsu, so using the Zalat's machines polishing. I frankly don't know. I only don't know. I mean, the polishing is absolutely brilliant, flawless, beautiful. But because I have never actually had the chance of wearing or owning or handling Grand Seiko, I can't know how it compares to that, which definitely is using Zaratsu polishing. The case back, the usual Seiko deal with the raised logo there, and it's an ISO certified dive watch from the Prospex line. As you can see, there is the X. It comes with an unsigned crown, but the crown sits very nicely without any crown guards. It doesn't really need it. It doesn't go into your wrist as such, so it's not obtrusive. Very easy to grab, very easy to unscrew. It has actually a very nice action to it. The winding action is also rather smooth and buttery, so it's a well-defined product. Another thing which I really want to point out are the indices. The indices on this particular Seiko are actually lined up, which is, you know, unheard of. I know that this is, so I'm saying this jokingly, but I haven't had good experience with Seikos before. A similar priced model was the SBDC007, also known as the Seiko Shogun. I used to own that for a while, and the reason I sold it was because the indices were not lined up to the outer chaptering markers, and it just drove me nuts completely. This one, I'm happy to report, they do line up, so that's a big plus. You get for over $1,000 something that is actually lined up. I hear, although I can't confirm, that this is due to the quality checks, that because they are producing in Seiko so many of these watches, that the quality checks are, you know, even a few percentage, so let's say 2 to 3% of the watches don't have a very nice lined up indices on their dials, would end up to be thousands of watches in the end. I heard on one of the forums that someone was receiving exactly the same model with not lined up indices, and he was sending it back. I haven't seen any follow-up to that, whether actually Seiko then replaced it for him. I would certainly hope so. Just like everyone else, I haven't read the booklet for guarantee. I will only read it if I need it to, but I doubt it that actually the dial is covered by it. I'm sure this is just like with most of the watch brands, it's for the movement and functionality of the movement. So what they say about the 6R35 by Seiko is that it's accurate to minus 15 to plus 25 seconds. They just give you that figure. That's because they don't spend that much time regulating the movement. I'm sure a watchmaker can regulate it to COSC specs easily. Actually, this particular one in 3 weeks gains daily around 2 seconds, which is awesome, frankly. The only gripe I have with it, something that I do not like, is that the date wheel engages around 11 p.m. and then it takes like an hour to change the date. So that's not good. Obviously on this price you cannot expect it to change immediately, although it would be lovely to have that. So let me demonstrate that to you. We are now at 10 p.m. and I think at 10:30 it will start engaging. Oh, you can already see it. Not even at 10:30, date wheel is already engaged. 11. So it will take 1.5 hours, and just before midnight it already changed the date. So yeah, so that is not great. However, on the other hand, you have a quick set date function, so you can cycle through easily. That's not bad, and well, it's something I think we should expect on this price point. The good things is the sunburst gray dial. It looks in some light conditions almost black, in other light conditions really rather bright light gray, and the hands don't look cheap. This is where I will make reference to the Longines Hydro Conquest. You can see a video about on my channel. Those hands were really flat, or at least in hand they felt really flat and cheap, frankly. On this I don't have that issue, and the hour markers indices are much nicer finished as well. They are all filled with lume bright, which is legendary with Seiko. Check out any wrist shots with lume shots. It's absolutely brilliant, very legible. And so are the hour, minute and second markers filled with lume bright, and also the lume, the pip here, but it's only the pip, so not the numbers. The bezel insert is brushed steel, which suits very much this watch. It also adds to the vintage typey vibe that goes on, but don't be fooled, this is a true modern watch. The crown is not signed, which I think is awesome, because I do not like what Seiko does with the SARB line and their S there. It has a cheap feel. I just dislike it, frankly. So I prefer it that it's not signed. Obviously, the Grand Seiko logo on the Grand Seikos is a different story. That sort of finish I wouldn't mind, obviously. It comes with drilled locks, which is awesome because in this box we have the unused bracelet it came with. I have to give credit to Seiko. This bracelet is much better than their previous iterations were. You have the solid end links. It's very nicely finished, but it does rattle. I'm trying to demonstrate it. Yeah, so I think it feels cheap. It still feels cheap. The opening action is really good. Closes with a very reassuring snap. You need to press both sides in order to open it, but then you can feel that whilst this is milled out, this is still stamped, this part of the clasp, so that's not great. There are higher tolerances than I would actually like, so it does rattle, hence it will remain unused. I removed it pretty much immediately when I opened the box, didn't even size it to my wrist. But I think that's a personal preference as well. I was a bit spoiled. I used to wear an Explorer 1 on the Oyster bracelet from 2017, so the new Oyster bracelet, and that kind of spoiled this fun for me. I am now looking for that sort of quality, which is completely unfair, I know. However, there are plenty of aftermarket options. As you can see, it really looks nice on pretty much anything because it's a true and true real diver watch. I actually bought a leather strap, grey leather strap as well, for when it's not this hot. For hotter weather, I think the NATO is a really good companion for this watch. I will try to make a wrist shot. Give me a sec. I will put back the NATO. I have, for reference, an 18.5 centimeter wrist, which does swell up in heat. So I found the NATO very comfortable, especially in August and July, the summer month. So I wear it on the NATO most of the time. So let me try to show your wrist shot. Okay, 18.5 centimeters, and this is how it wears on 18.5. Very comfortable, I have to say. Very comfortable, really nice presence on the wrist. I'm very happy with this purchase. We could debate whether £1,100 is the right price. Some people say it's just a Seiko. I think Seiko did up their game very much on this particular model. I think this will be sold pretty much immediately as they hit the stocks, so when they come into the dealers. I can already see in some websites that it's sold, out of stock, and so forth. I think this is gonna be a big hit for Seiko. I'm sure you know that in this lineup they have 4 different models. I think it's just a taste and preference question. For me, I instantly connected with this grey sunburst dial. I think, well, I like grey to begin with, so that was a no-brainer for me to buy this one. And also I kind of wear this now as an everyday watch. I went through a very tough period of slimming down my collection, and currently I only wear this Seiko, and I have a Japanese market only G-Shock, which I will make a review about soonish. If you have any questions, you can ask me. As always, I will try to respond to those questions. And yeah, if you are thinking about buying this watch and you are looking for something that is a true diver but very versatile, you can put it on all sorts of straps, and it could be easily your only watch. As mentioned, it's pretty much the only watch I am wearing currently, and I'm really happy with it. So I can only recommend to buy this Seiko, and I hope that in the next iteration they will do something with the date wheel, changing the date as well, because that's just not cool. Changing the date for what, 1.5 hours. But hey, I think I can live with that. I usually am asleep by 11 anyway nowadays. So here you go, again a shot from this angle. Oh yeah, before I finish this video, there is something I wanted to point out. It's the quality of finish here where the bezel insert is meeting the bezel. That is absolutely gorgeous, awesome. That's a detail that would really look good on pretty much any watch on any price point. So well done, Seiko. And the doomed sapphire crystal, which has anti-reflective coating on the underside or the inside, is a really good choice for this particular watch. I think it makes it look a little bit slimmer, which I think is a positive on this watch. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please do post it in the comments, and have a really good afternoon or day. Bye bye.